Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 10 has just been released, one of the most iconic and at the same time controversial distributions in the open source world. At the same time, Rocky Linux has also been updated, the distribution born to inherit the legacy of CentOS after Red Hat's pivotal change, aiming to maintain a fully free and open source version of what was originally accessible to everyone. Red Hat is not a distribution designed for the average desktop user. Its target is large companies, data centers, cloud providers, the enterprise world that demands stability, security, certifications, and top-tier technical support. For this reason, Red Hat has built a practically unique reputation in the Linux world. Its business model has become the benchmark for anyone wanting to combine open source with profitability. Since 2019, Red Hat has been part of the IBM Group, following a record acquisition of $34 billion, a figure that says more than any words about the strategic importance of this company in the global IT landscape. On the financial front, Red Hat continues to post impressive numbers. Official data published in 2024 show annual revenues exceeding $6.6 billion, with steady double-digit growth. Most of this income comes from support services, enterprise subscriptions, and the hybrid cloud ecosystem built around RHEL, OpenShift, and automation solutions like Ansible. But what are Red Hat's concrete contributions, especially those of RHEL, to open source? Here, the list is truly long and important because many of the technologies we now take for granted in the Linux world were born, grew, or were strongly supported thanks to Red Hat. Here are some examples. Systemd. Whether you love it or hate it, it's now the standard for service and startup management in modern Linux systems. Developed by Lennart Pettering, who was hired by Red Hat specifically to advance this project. CLinux, Security Enhanced Linux, an advanced access control system originally developed by the NSA but implemented and maintained by Red Hat, offering granular security to Linux systems. KVM, Kernel-Based Virtual Machine, the main virtualization system in the Linux kernel, now used by almost every cloud provider, developed and largely maintained by Red Hat. Red Hat Package Manager, RPM, the software packaging and distribution format that set a standard followed by dozens of distributions, including Fedora, OpenSUSE, Rocky, and Alma Linux. GNOME, the reference desktop environment for the vast majority of distributions, whose development has been heavily funded and steered by Red Hat, both in terms of code and design. Wayland, the graphical protocol set to replace X11, for which Red Hat is one of the main sponsors and contributors. libvirt, one of the most widely used virtual machine management libraries, born and developed in the Red Hat environment. Podman, the open-source answer to Docker, designed for container management in a more secure and enterprise-compliant way. Ansible, not originally developed at Red Hat, but after being acquired, its development and adoption exploded, making it the most widely used IT automation platform in the enterprise world. Network Manager, the system that revolutionized network management on Linux desktops and servers, developed and maintained by Red Hat. Pulse Audio, also mainly developed by Lennart Pettering during his time at Red Hat, and was the standard audio server in Linux for years. Beyond these projects, Red Hat is constantly among the top contributors to the Linux kernel, both in terms of the number of patches and the quality and importance of its contributions. In many official kernel releases, Red Hat consistently ranks among the top 3 companies for lines of code submitted and reviewed, alongside Intel and Google. Of course, Red Hat's evolution has not been painless, and has often sparked heated debate within the community. Decisions like discontinuing CentOS as a direct downstream project, pushing Systemd as the new standard, and a business model increasingly focused on large enterprise customers have alienated some of Linux's historic user base. Some see Red Hat as a symbol of open source's ability to succeed in business, while others view it as now too integrated into corporate logic and distant from the original philosophy of the movement. But to truly understand the impact of Red Hat Enterprise Linux and its surrounding ecosystem, it's important to look beyond just the technology. Red Hat's business approach has deeply shaped not only how companies view Linux, but also how the entire open source movement is perceived in the business world. Before Red Hat, open source was often associated with volunteer-driven projects, unpredictable support, and the perception that free meant unsupported or amateur. Red Hat flipped this narrative, showing that it's possible to build robust, scalable, and secure solutions on top of open source technologies, and offer professional support, warranties, certifications, and a long-term life cycle that companies could truly rely on. It's no coincidence that some of the world's largest companies, banks, airlines, telecommunication giants, and even governments, run their critical infrastructure on Red Hat solutions. By providing certified hardware compatibility, multi-year support cycles, and a dedicated security response team, Red Hat has made Linux not just an alternative, but often the preferred choice in mission-critical environments. Even cloud computing's rise has not left Red Hat behind. If anything, it has amplified its relevance. Products like OpenShift have become a cornerstone of the modern hybrid cloud, bringing Kubernetes and container orchestration to the enterprise with Red Hat's stamp of reliability. The story of CentOS and the subsequent birth of Rocky Linux and Alma Linux is also a fascinating chapter in this journey. For years, CentOS acted as the free downstream version of RHEL, making Red Hat's rock-solid technology accessible to a huge community of sysadmins, hobbyists, and smaller companies. When Red Hat shifted CentOS to a rolling release model with CentOS Stream, the community quickly responded. Rocky Linux and Alma Linux were founded almost overnight, spearheaded by ex-CentOS and cloud veterans determined to keep a fully compatible OpenRL clone available to everyone. This episode not only demonstrated the power of community, but also showed how even the most powerful companies in open source must negotiate with their users and the broader ecosystem. And then there's the debate around Red Hat's dual nature. Open source champion on one hand, corporate powerhouse on the other. It's a balancing act that comes with unique challenges and sometimes inevitable criticism. There are those who argue that Red Hat's close relationship with giants like IBM and its focus on enterprise markets pulls it away from the grassroots spirit of open source. Others point out that without a strong, profitable company behind it, much of the open source progress seen in the last 2 decades simply wouldn't have happened at the same speed or scale. Looking forward, Red Hat's influence continues to grow. Its engineers not only maintain and improve countless critical open source projects, but also help shape standards and best practices adopted worldwide. Whether you see Red Hat as the corporate face of Linux, the driving force of open source innovation, or a bit of both, there's no denying its pivotal role in the evolution of modern computing. In a world where open source now powers everything from supercomputers to smartphones, Red Hat is both a symbol of how far the movement has come, and a reminder that in technology, the lines between community and industry are more blurred than ever. For those who are simply curious and want to see for themselves what Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10 offers, you can legally download and install the distribution by signing up for the Red Hat Developer Program. It's still an operating system designed and optimized for businesses, with tools that will likely remain unused by a typical desktop user. But it's a concentration of technology and innovation that has over time influenced the entire Linux ecosystem.